Broadcasting from down on the bayou, it's the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast, powered by Lake Area Media, LLC. And now your hosts, David Boston and Patrick Fry.
And welcome to the AMP Wrestling Podcast. I'm David Boston. He is Patrick Fry, and we are back in business. What up?
Oh, not too much, David. Glad you're able to you were able to make it back. You know, you caught the COVID and you were feeling a little down and whatnot. So glad you're back, feeling better. You were kind of coughing before we came on, so I know you're not 100%, but certainly, even when I had COVID, I wasn't 100% for a few weeks. So, but eventually I got back there. So, but hey, glad you're feeling better. Glad you're back. Because I tell you what, doing the show solo and not having anyone to bounce off of, it's kind of hard. It's a little, I don't know. And I feel like I'm obviously much better with you here, and me doing it than me doing it solo. So. I'm glad you're back. I'm excited for this week. My favorite event of the year. Well, maybe not necessarily my favorite event. Certainly my favorite match or matches of the year with the Royal Rumble matches coming up this weekend. WrestleMania is still my favorite event of the year because there's just nothing like WrestleMania in my opinion. Or maybe not so much these days, but certainly back in the day, there was nothing like WrestleMania, but I still enjoy the pageantry that is WrestleMania. But I'm excited about this week, the Royal Rumble, the Rumble matches, a lot of uncertainty as far as who's going to win the Rumble matches and who could show up. And that's what makes the Royal Rumble fun, the uncertainty and the surprises that could take place during the Royal Rumble. But glad you're back. And yeah, man.
Peter Avalon is the free agent.
Yeah, there's a handful of guys in AEW that apparently are becoming free agents, like Marco Stunt, Joey Janela, Brian Cage even, which is a little surprising to me that they're, the speculation is that they're just going to let his contract run out and then he'll be free to go do whatever he wants. So that's a little surprising to me because I feel like, Brian Cage is kind of a big name, or at least a significant name in the world of pro wrestling, and he was doing pretty well.
I think his wife put the death knell into that when she took to Twitter and started throwing shade on Tony Khan on how he booked Brian Cage. And Tony was like, "Oh, you got problems on how I book Brian Cage? Watch this. He's not working."
Yeah, that could be it. Tony Khan probably said, "Well, hey, you know what? Check this out. If you don't like the way I'm booking it, you're really not going to like this." So,
and I'm going to let his contract run out, bitch.
Yeah, and like I said, there's a handful of others. I think like Leo Rush, apparently they're going to, he's tweeted out that he's going to be a free agent next month. So, but he hasn't been there that long. So I don't know. I don't know what's, and obviously, it seems, on the surface, a lot of these people that go to AEW say, oh, how much they love working for AEW, how great of a company it is, this and that, how great the people are. And, you're not, and now with their plethora of talent they have,
Except for Big Swole.
Yeah, you're obviously not gonna make everyone happy. So, and I'm not saying that these guys are not happy. Obviously, Brian Cage's wife wasn't too thrilled with the way he was getting booked. Brian may feel differently, but it's just it's a matter of business. Obviously, when AEW started, the talent were slim pickings, and as time goes on, some of these bigger stars come from the bigger companies or other companies, and the roster gets filled up. And as you fill up the roster with, A-list talent, you got to start letting some of the D and C-list talent just let their contracts expire. So that way you don't feel bad, I guess, for not using them and tying them up into a contract and whatnot. So, it's just the nature of the business. At least they're not, cutting them like WWE is right out the gate. They're just letting their contracts expire, which is the right thing to do. So I think Tony Khan is handling it fairly well, at least better than Vince and WWE is.
Yeah, and look, and Brian Cage is not going to have a hard time finding a job.
No, certainly
let's get that out the way. But at the same time, as The Rock so eloquently put it so many times, he needs to have a conversation so his wife knows her role and shuts her mouth. And if she wants to say something like that, make sure it's during the book club when her and her friends are sipping on $3 bottle of wine.
Yeah, sometimes Yeah, it's interesting. You know, if I were me, I'd tell my significant other, it's like, hey, look, just stay out of it. Like, I'll deal with it. I'm a grown man. Let me deal with it.
Delete your Twitter.
I wouldn't go that far, but I'd just say maybe delete that tweet, if anything, or let me, or run it by me before you want to tweet something, and I'll tell you whether you should tweet it or not. Because obviously, I'm not saying that tweet cost him his job at AEW, but you never know. Because it seems like Tony Khan.
I mean, look at him. That dude says champion all over him. And he was probably making the best money of his life because apparently everybody in AEW has at least a 6-figure contract.
Yeah, and well, I forgot what I was going to say now, but and yeah, I was a fan of Brian Cage. He's a well-known name. He was kind of, and I wouldn't say he's obviously not a big name like a CM Punk, a Bryan Danielson, and Adam Cole, Bay, and whatnot, but he was certainly a significant name coming out of the Indies, and I think he was an Impact as well for a little
he was
bit.
The Impact champion for a long time, and shout out to Ryan K. Bowman. He got us the hookup. Remember back in the Dizzle when we used to be on the press junkets for Impact?
Yeah.
Got to ask him quite a few questions.
Yeah.
Leading up to Bound for Glory or something like that, and really cool dude.
Yeah, absolutely. So, but. Like I said, I don't know if that cost him his job or not, but it does seem like, because obviously the whole thing with Big Swole, she went at Tony Khan, and Tony Khan basically defended himself, and it rubbed some people the wrong way, and this might be Tony Khan's way of defending himself against Brian Cage's wife, saying, you know what, I'm just gonna let the contract expire. I'm not gonna re-sign him. But like you said, he's not gonna have any trouble finding work elsewhere. He's a hell of a talent, and he's got a hell of a resume already as it is. Somebody will pick him up very quickly.
Oh, most definitely. If it's WWE, you think he goes straight to NXT or they put him on the main roster?
He'll go to NXT because obviously they're trying to build up NXT as this new thing, and I don't know, they might change his name to something stupid, but
a match between him and Braun Breaker.
I'd tune in. I would tune in to NXT 2.0. Even though I haven't tuned in forever. But hey, it would be interesting. Wouldn't be surprised. I would love to see him go back to Impact. I think Impact has got some momentum right now. And, I think a guy like Brian Cage could help that momentum, certainly.
Oh, yeah, most definitely. I would love to see a match between him and W. Morrissey.
Oh, yeah, there we go. 2 big men. Yeah, sign me up.
Yeah.
All right. You want to go ahead and do a sponsor?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do Amazon. It's the easiest one for the folks out there. Essentially, all you have to do to support our show is buy stuff on Amazon, and there's no extra added to your checkout or to your cart. Put in the URL, tinyurl.com/Amazon AMP, Amazon AMP. Make sure you bookmark it, because every time you go to Amazon, if you use that link, old Uncle Bezos will give you boys a commission, and there's no cost added to you, whether you're buying birthday gifts, whether you're buying, I don't know, gadgets for around the house,
anniversary gifts, DIY stuff. Valentine's is coming up. Well, I don't know if they sell any Valentine's stuff, but maybe you get like some kind of stuffed teddy bear. Yeah, I guess you're right. Amazon sells all kind of crap. So Valentine's stuff. Yeah. Let's go Brandon gear, things like that. I mean, they got pretty much anything you can think of. It's on Amazon, so it really has become kind of like a one-stop shop for your online shopping for the most part. So yeah, use tinyurl.com/AmazonAMP, bookmark it. Anytime you go back to Amazon, just click the bookmark and buy whatever, and they'll send you boys a little commission. And like I said, every little bit helps, and we obviously want to continue to keep improving the podcast and whatnot, so that it's enjoyable for the listener. We would truly appreciate it.
Most definitely.
All right. Shall I do the rundown now?
Run it down, fella.
All right. Well, for the AMP Wrestling Podcast, episode number is 124 for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. We're going to preview the Royal Rumble coming up this Saturday. Jon Moxley returned to AEW last week, and Bully Ray also had some comments on Jon Moxley that got him a bit of heat. We'll talk about that. Mustafa Ali has requested his release from WWE, but it doesn't appear that he's going to get it, so we'll talk about that as well. And then a rumor mill, basically a ton of Rumble rumors. As I was saying when we started the show. You know, the fun thing about the Royal Rumble is the uncertainty. You never know who's going to show up, what kind of surprises we're going to get. And David, you have a ton of Rumble rumors that we're going to talk about in Rumor Mill, so we'll talk about that and everything else coming up here on the AMP Wrestling Podcast, episode number 124 for Tuesday, January 25th, 2022.
Find us on your favorite social media platforms, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Twitter. Just search AMP Wrestling Podcast. Before we get into it, Patrick, boy, do we take a swift kick in the balls today.
And why is that?
I mean, just straight goat kick right in the nutsack. 2 years ago, we lost our Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, as Saints fans, we lose out of the blue our Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shock, although the rumors started swirling, I think, a couple of days ago about, you know, the uncertainty that Sean Payton would be coaching next year. And I remember someone saying, you know, this is going to be a big story coming up, so get ready. It was, you know, a week ago, if you'd have told me that, I'd be like, no way. But after the last couple of days, you know, it was, it seemed inevitable as the time went on. But big thanks to Sean Payton for 16 years as the Saints head coach, brought us our first and only Super Bowl title. Got Drew Brees to come to New Orleans, where he became a bona fide first ballot Hall of Famer and absolutely resurrected the Saints football program or franchise that was really just hit rock bottom. You know, when we were basically at rock bottom when Sean Payton arrived.
Fans were wearing paper bags over their heads.
Well, they had been doing that for years. That went back to, I think, like the 80s probably. And, you know, the Saints had a couple of good years here and there in between all that, but after Hurricane Katrina and everything, the 3-13 season that happened in 2005, the Saints, I think, with the number 2 pick where they got Reggie Bush, and we were just rock bottom. And within a year of Sean Payton's first year there, he got us into the NFC title game, and then 3 years later, won us a Super Bowl, and we should have had another one a few years ago. If it wasn't for a phantom no pass interference call against the Rams in the NFC title game. But Sean Payton definitely built up a heck of a franchise in New Orleans in the past decade and a half.
You know, we can't talk about that Rams play without talking about the whiff from Marcus Williams and then the push off from Kyle Rudolph.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we got screwed so many times to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, there was the 17, 18, and 19 seasons, just the way they ended for the Saints. It was left a bad taste in Saints fans' mouths, and there's nothing we can do about it now, though.
And the Rams, when they went, this dumped straight on the field.
Yeah, only scoring 3 points against Tom Brady and the Patriots, and I would love to see a Brady versus Breeze Super Bowl. We got robbed of that, but and it was because of that they changed the rule in the NFL to where pass interference can now be reviewable. So that's 2 times the Saints have impacted rule changes in the playoffs. Of course, the first came when they beat the Vikings in 2009 to go to the Super Bowl by just kicking a field goal in overtime, and they changed the overtime rules. And then, of course, the no pass interference call against the Rams changed the rule that pass interference can now be reviewable.
Now, not only did we get donkey kicked in the nutsack with this news, but during the press conference, did you watch it?
I watched some of it, yeah. It was going on. I mean, it went on for a little while, and I can only sit there and listen to it for so long before I'm like, all right, I'm out.
Sean Payton grabbed a hammer and finished the job on the sack. He goes, I don't know what I'm going to do in the future. Maybe I'll coach again. Huh?
Yeah, I think you just want to take some time off.
Again. Oh, okay. You big jerk.
Yeah, a lot of people are expecting him to end up in Dallas, which is where he was before he came to New Orleans. So we'll see.
Dallas makes a lot of sense, but the Bears make a lot of sense too. Like if whoever they're going to hire for this next coach, if he doesn't do well in like 2 or 3 years and Sean gets the itch back, I mean, he grew up in Chicago and played for Chicago.
Yeah.
the Bears would love to have that dude. Even if the guy's average coach, whoever they pick, they'll probably fire him for Sean Payton.
Yeah, there's a good 10 to 15 franchises right now that would love to have Sean Payton. So he'll every offseason now from here on out till he gets a job, he'll be on people's radars.
Most definitely. What about Coach Drew Brees? How does that sound?
I did think about that, but Drew, I think Drew's enjoying the broadcasting and rightfully so. I would enjoy it too. So I just to have him just jump into a head coaching role, that's a little bit of a jump. Even for Drew.
And it would take a lot of time away from him and his family, which I think was one of the motivating factors, with him calling it quits.
Oh, certainly.
And the fact that he couldn't throw over 20 yards.
Yeah, I mean, his best days were obviously behind him. Unfortunately, he wasn't aging like Brady is.
Well, speaking of Brady, you think he's done?
No, I think he's got about at least another year, maybe 2.
Well, you had the the comment from Arians about this team's over. And then a lot of people are saying that the Bucs management aren't even for sure if he's coming back because he's non-committal so far.
I mean, it's one of those things where he's going to, take some time with his family and talk it out, probably like how Drew Brees did, because we didn't know Drew Brees was going to retire. We kind of had a feeling he would, but we didn't. Of course, I think Saints fans didn't really want to admit it, but because he did have a year left on his contract, and then whenever they restructured his contract to see or to give him, I think it was like a veteran minimum or something like that, that's when everyone was like, okay, I think he's done. So, yeah, I guess we'll find out, but.
Okay.
I don't know. Like I said, I think he'll come back as far as Brady goes.
It'll be interesting to see who we start to interview. I mean, obviously, I guess our first interview has to be Dennis Allen.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about Dennis Allen. Some people are talking about, was it Brian Flores, who was at Miami, who they think he was wrongfully fired. I'm trying to think. There was another name I thought of, but I can't remember. I don't know. Maybe like an assistant from a very good team like the Chiefs or the Bills or the Rams or whatever. Maybe Kellen Moore,
Joe Brady.
No.
I hear he's looking for a job.
Yeah, well, you should go back to LSU where he actually did something worth a damn. Yeah, because I should have known that was going to be a failure. I mean, how are you going to go from being a passing game coordinator in college to an offensive coordinator at the NFL level just within a year? And think you were going to be successful, especially Carolina. No.
Oh, Matt Rule hung him out to dry, though. How do you not give him another year just to see? I mean, he's a first-time coordinator.
Yeah, I don't know.
That guy's trying to save his job.
All right, you want to dive into
let's get to the Rumble.
To some wrestling talk here?
Yeah.
We were becoming a football podcast there for a second.
Let's talk wrestling.
All right, so, of course, this weekend, it's the Royal Rumble, the first Royal Rumble in front of fans since me, Brent Cruz, and some of the guys went back in Houston in 2020. So I'm excited about, first of all, the fans being there because, obviously, the fans get really into the Rumble matches. So you have your men's and women's Royal Rumble matches. We'll talk about that towards the end, but I want to go over the other matches happening. First, the WWE Championship, Brock Lesnar taking on Bobby Lashley in a match that I think wrestling fans have been wanting to see for a while. And I'm pretty excited about it. I'm thrilled about it. It was a match we thought we were going to maybe get at SummerSlam. We didn't get it, but we're finally going to get it this Saturday night. I'm enjoying the new Brock Lesnar, by the way. He's coming out, been looking like a lumberjack, and then he came out this past Monday with a cowboy hat, and everybody's been calling him Cowboy Brock and whatnot. And he made a funny comment on Monday Night Raw last night. They had like the weigh-in, which, by the way, I think Brock came in at like 286, and
Pure man.
Yeah, Bobby Lashley came in at 273. So two big athletic guys. Like, I feel like they could put on a really good match. I'm really looking forward to seeing these two go at it. Yeah, because I think this is the first time these two have wrestled one-on-one. So I'm really looking forward to that. But he comes out, he's wearing his cowboy shit, and Corey Graves makes a comment. It's like, Brock, I don't think that's appropriate attire for a weigh-in. And Brock looks at Corey, says, well, Mr. Graves, would you like me to get naked for you? And then he said, I think we should proceed with the weigh-in now. And that was a pretty funny comment. So I'm enjoying the fact that they've been kind of letting Brock be his own man. Like, they're not really they're, Paul Heyman's still in his corner, and Paul Heyman does talk for him from time to time, but they're kind of letting Brock just be himself, and I'm really enjoying that. But as far as the match goes, I think Brock's going to retain. There's talk of maybe having Brock and Roman having a title unification match at WrestleMania. So obviously Bobby's a big time opponent for him for such a big event. I think it's going to be a great match. I see Brock winning though. But man, two big guys going at it who have legitimate MMA background experience as well. Two legitimate fighters. I think this is going to be fun.
What's the deal with Corey Graves? I know before I contracted the Rona, I'd heard that he'd been cleared for action. Do you think he's ever going to wrestle again?
I talked about it on the episode that I did solo, and I was talking about how fun it would be if he came back as like a mystery or a surprise entrant into the Royal Rumble. And I think it would be great because the fans know who he is. As fans, we've gotten to really get to know him obviously behind the commentary desk, and I think that's a really good way to indirectly, I guess, get the fans to know you and whatnot, and kind of, I guess, get that connection with the fans, even though like I said, he's never really done anything in the ring since he's gotten the commentary role. I mean, obviously he was in NXT for a cup of coffee and whatnot. No one really knew who he was then, but now he's been in the spotlight and the commentary desk for, I think, 5-6 years now, or even a little bit longer than that. So the fans know who he is. I don't know if he would be over or not, but I think the fans would definitely get behind him getting into the Rumble. And who knows, maybe he'll have a couple of, because obviously back in the day, there's been storylines where wrestlers have had interactions and matches with some of the commentary team. I mean, I'm thinking like of Taz had the feud with Jerry Lawler back in 2000. Obviously, Jerry Lawler and Michael Cole had their big feud leading up to WrestleMania and whatnot. So it's just a couple of examples. There may be more that I can't think of at the moment, but it's obviously something they've done before where they've had wrestlers get into it with commentators and ultimately have a match, so they could do something from that standpoint as well. But I would be thrilled because right now there's 22 announced men's Rumble entrants, so that leaves 8 open spots, and Corey Graves could very well get one of those spots. And they've had announcers join the Royal Rumble from the commentary position in the past as well, so it certainly would not be a shock to me and I would be excited for Corey to get that return. Probably get a big pop. There'd be a big crowd there, obviously, in St. Louis for the Rumble. I think he'll get a big pop. I think it'll be a pretty cool moment if it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But so yeah, Brock and Bobby Lashley. Any thoughts on that match?
No, I think it's going to be two Goliaths clashing, and as JR says, it's going to be a slobber knocker.
Absolutely. The WWE Raw Women's Championship on the line. Becky Lynch taking on Doudrop. That has a potential to be a really good match. Obviously, Doudrop's a bigger woman. Becky Lynch is very, I don't want to say she's tiny because she's a little more ripped now since she's had her kid, but she's obviously there's a big size difference between Doudrop and Becky Lynch. So I'm curious to see how this match plays out because obviously Doudrop's going to have the power factor, but Becky Lynch has the experience factor. But I do think Becky Lynch retains. I think she's going to go into into WrestleMania as the champion and probably have a big time match against somebody. I don't know who though. So that match should be pretty interesting. I think Doudrop's been coming around. She's obviously a great wrestler when she was Piper Niven and everything, and she hasn't lost that step. So I've read that people backstage are very impressed with Doudrop. So I don't know. Maybe she gets the upset. Who knows? But I just don't see Becky Lynch losing that belt. I mean, she hasn't been pinned in a very long time, and I don't see Doudrop being the one to end that particular streak.
I think I know who Becky Lynch's opponent to be at WrestleMania, and we'll talk more about that in Rumor Mill at the end of the podcast.
I think I know where you're going with that, but yeah, definitely. There's been a lot of talk in the last few days. We'll talk about that coming up. But any more thoughts on the Raw Women's title match?
Nah, Becky has a nice caboose.
Yeah, hopefully she wears an attire similar to her SummerSlam attire, where she definitely was showing off the backside. That was a very lovely surprise. So, Becky Lynch, we appreciate you for that, and please repeat that at the Royal Rumble on Saturday. Next match, what you said?
I said take it for the team.
Yes, absolutely. The next match, it's a mixed tag team match. Edge and Beth Phoenix taking on The Miz and Maurice. I see Edge and Beth Phoenix winning this match. The last time The Miz and Maurice were in a mixed tag team match, they were squashed by John Cena and Nikki Bella at WrestleMania. I don't think it'll be that much of a squash, but certainly I think Edge and Beth Phoenix will probably get the win. But then again, I don't know. Because obviously, I mean, you look at Edge and The Miz. Wow, you got two Hall of Famers versus The Miz, who's going to be a Hall of Famer, and Maurice, she's not going to be a Hall of Famer, let's face it. But I'm curious to see how this match goes. I think Beth Phoenix and The Miz might get mixed up a little bit, maybe, possibly. We'll see. I suspect Edge and Beth Phoenix will win this match, though. I don't see any reason to have Miz and Maurice win.
What great wrestling memes came out of that photo of Edge and Beth Phoenix? You know which one I'm talking about?
Was it their entrance?
Yeah. Like he was coming in, he has his mouth wide open.
Oh, yes. Okay, yes. I know exactly.
And she was like looking back, like, she's, mischievous or something. And like one of my favorite ones was when she says, "Lock the door."
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did see a handful of those memes. Those were great memes. And Edge's face in the memes was fantastic.
Another great one was when she says her mother is coming to pick up the kids.
Yes, good times. And, Edge and Beth probably live by those as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind watching a tape of them too. That's for sure. So they got that match, and then they have the Universal Championship match. It's Roman Reigns taking on Seth freaking Rollins. I think freaking is like a part of his official name now, which is stupid. But I don't have much thoughts on this. I think it'll be a good match, but I don't see Roman losing. As I mentioned a while ago, there's talk of Brock and Roman having a title unification match possibly at WrestleMania. So we'll see Brock and Roman possibly for the 18th time at WrestleMania. But, I see Roman winning this match. I mean, the dude's on a roll. Hasn't been pinned, I think, in, 2 years. So, yeah. Roman wins, and it's going to be a great match. It'll be a good back-and-forth match, but Roman, no chance Roman loses this match.
Yeah, in WWE's like in a rock and a hard place because the only believable person, well, maybe two, the only believable people that when you put up against Roman that you think, okay, these guys have a chance would be Brock and Lashley.
Yeah.
So anybody else, I mean, it's almost a foregone conclusion what's going to happen.
Yeah, especially with the way they built Roman over the past couple of years. I mean,
yeah.
Brock and Bobby are the only two I can think of that, I agree with you that, if they have a match going into it, you think, well, maybe they have a chance. I mean, like Seth, no, he doesn't have a chance. So, And then, of course, you have your two Rumble matches. First, the Women's Rumble match. Right now, 21 of the 30 entrants have been announced as of today. Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Queen Zelina, Tamina, Shotzi, Natalya, Aliyah, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, who is, by the way, the SmackDown Women's Champion, Nikki and Brie Bella, Lita, Michelle McCool, Kelly, Summer Rae, Mickie James, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan. Obviously, Mickie James is coming from Impact. She's the Impact Knockouts World Champion, so that's a bit of a surprise. And then you got, the Bella Twins, Lita, Michelle McCool, Kelly, Summer Rae, not full-time wrestlers anymore. They're going to come in and make some appearances as well. And then the interesting thing, too, is that Charlotte, being the SmackDown Women's Champion, is in the match. And I think she, basically they're building that as if she wins, she's going to pick her opponent for WrestleMania. But, looking at this list, I'm trying to think who could win it. Last year was Bianca Belair. And I'm looking at this list, and I mean, Bianca could certainly win it again. Maybe Rhea Ripley. She, I think, was down to the final few maybe last year. I think Charlotte's going to be in the final few. And then also you got the 9, the 9 slots that haven't been filled yet, so we don't know if one of those 9 could be. One of the 9 that's not announced yet could win. Dark horse, I would say, could be Lita, because there was a reports that Lita was supposed to be was maybe on her way to AEW to wrestle there. So that tells me maybe Lita wants to kind of get back in the game for a little bit, maybe make a little run, and whatnot. And I know you said, we I think in Rumor Mill we got a rumor about a woman coming back. And she may come back in the Royal Rumble, and we'll talk about that as well. But based on this list, and then there's Liv Morgan too. I think Liv Morgan's right there. She's starting to kind of break through a little bit. I think the fans are really starting to get behind her. She's another dark horse I think that can win. But right now, based on this list, I don't know who I would pick to win. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to say Rhea Ripley. They'll let Rhea Ripley win. That's a guess as of right now based on this list, but I do reserve the right to change that pick. So I'm going to say Rhea Ripley. I always got to give a Rumble winner, so I'm going to say Rhea Ripley.
I know 2 girls that they need to reach out to. One, since they're kind of, working with some other promotions, why not have the NWA Women's Champion Camille Brickhouse in the match?
Now, certainly,
that chick's a beast.
Yeah, I mean, obviously WWE has reached out to, Impact's world champion Mickie James, who used to wrestle in WWE, so there is that connection there. See, Camille has no prior connection with WWE, which makes me think, 1, they're not going to do that because of that, and 2, I think they're just going to try to limit to one, quote, forbidden door entrant in Mickie James, and we could still get a forbidden door entrant for the men's Rumble. A lot of speculation. I think people are thinking Moose. There was also, we'll talk about it here in a little bit when we talk about the men's Rumble, but like I said, I think I don't think we're going to see any more forbidden door entrants other than Mickie James. Now, there was a report that they did reach out to the Inspirations, who formerly known as the Iconics, Cassie Lee and Jessica, is it Jessie or Jessica McKay? One of those 2 names, but apparently they reached out to them and they turned down coming to the Rumble. So, so I guess they could reach out to other women wrestlers and other promotions, maybe. But yeah, that's what makes the Royal Rumble so interesting. The possibility of that happening. So,
the second woman that I think they should reach out to, she is tearing it up on the indies right now, and she's a 2nd-generation wrestler. She is none other, I can't even talk, Patrick, than the daughter of Terry Bam Bam Gordy from the Freebirds, Miranda Gordy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, you never know. Hey, look, like I said, there's 9 open slots, and they reached out to Mickie James. Even Pat McAfee said Impact World Champion, Knockouts World Champion on WWE television. So, this is WWE possibly creeping open that forbidden door. So you love to see it. But you got an early favorite to win, early pick maybe to win the Women's Rumble?
It seems like if they're going to put Charlotte in it, she's probably going to win.
Yeah, she did win 2 years ago. So
why else would you put her in there?
And that is the interesting question, because
you don't want to get your champion eliminated. That looks bad.
Well, you see, the thing about the Royal Rumble is it's literally as simple as getting thrown over the top rope. It's not like she's going to be getting pinned. That has There's a lot more stock in getting pinned versus getting thrown over the top rope. So I could definitely see Charlotte Flair getting eliminated. There could be like 4 or 5 women eliminate her. It took 4 or 5 women to get Charlotte Flair out the ring. So they can do that. It would be nothing for them to do that. So, like I said, it's not a situation where Charlotte has to get pinned to lose this match. All she got to do is get thrown over the top rope, and that's it. So I don't think they put much stock into having someone like their champion get thrown over the top rope versus them getting pinned in a match.
I'd love to see Mickie James win.
Yeah, that would be kind of wild, but I don't see that happening.
That would be the biggest pop.
I think it would. That or Liv Morgan, maybe. I think Liv Morgan would be a pretty big pop. Yeah, or Lita, maybe, would be a huge pop as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, let's move on now to the men's match. So right now in the men's match, 22 of the 30 entrants have been announced. So there's 8 unannounced slots so far. These are the announced participants: Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Rey Mysterio, Dominic Mysterio, Austin Theory, Johnny Knoxville, Sheamus, Damian Priest, AJ Styles, Big E, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss, Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens, Omos, Randy Orton, Riddle, Chad Gable, Otis, Dolph Ziggler, and Robert Roode. And when I did the show solo a couple of weeks ago, there was only like just over half of these names, and AJ Styles was my favorite to win. Now there was I think it was fake, but supposedly a leaked script for the Royal Rumble that had AJ winning. Now I think it was fake. A lot of people were speculating it was fake. In this particular, let's see, because I think Cruiser Brink shared it in our Facebook group. I'm gonna go pull it up here real quick. But they had AJ Styles winning, and they actually had Moose listed on the as an entrant. Because obviously, and here's the thing too, like this is what's crazy, because Moose obviously a couple of years ago, or not a couple of years ago, probably a few weeks ago or maybe a month ago, he went on Twitter and was talking about, teasing like a match with him and Roman Reigns. So they had on this, here it is right here. So they had Moose coming out 28th, and they had Roman Reigns, who's not even, by the way, or no, they had Roman Reigns coming out 30th, which is weird. It was supposed to be Drew Gulak, but it says Drew Gulak INT Roman Reigns is the 30th entrant. So, and they had Roman Reigns eliminating Moose from the match. So that was kind of interesting in itself there, because this particular sheet of paper, they got Johnny Knoxville on it, Montez Ford, Riddle, Kevin Owens, Pete Dunne is another one they have in there that wasn't on the list. They have Alberto Del Rio on the list, by the way, too, which makes me think this could be fake. And no other really like major surprises. Oh, Santino Marella is another one on the list. Mansoor. Let's see, who eliminates Omos? Oh, Riddle and Randy Orton. Okay. I was about to say, how many people is it going to take to eliminate Omos, that big son of a bitch? But yeah, I'm looking forward to the men's Rumble match because there's a lot of uncertainty. No one really knows who's going to win. I think AJ could win. I think Kevin Owens could win. Certainly, Randy Orton's in there. I mean, he's won it twice already. That's the only reason I could not see him winning. Big E could win, in my opinion. Other than that, maybe Sheamus, who's obviously a former winner. So there's a few guys I think that can win the match, and like I said, there's 8 other slots that have not been filled yet. And wouldn't count out Roman Reigns entering. Let's say he loses somehow to Seth Rollins. A miracle happens. He loses to Seth Rollins, and he enters the Royal Rumble. Maybe Rollins enters the Royal Rumble after he loses. Depends on, obviously, the match placement in the night. And let's say Bobby Lashley loses, he could enter as well. Or if Bobby beats Brock could enter. You never know. So it all depends on the match placement, who wins and loses those matches as well. That's always a factor you play into the Rumble match as well. But not just to go off that sheet of paper that could be fake, but I feel like it's AJ's time to win. Give me, I would love to see AJ win, and I'd love to see him go up against Roman at WrestleMania for the Universal title. I think that would be a hell of a match. And we talked about people who we could see beating Roman. I think AJ Styles could be one of those guys. So, obviously AJ's resume speaks for itself. His in-ring ability speaks for itself. I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to predict AJ is going to win. That's my pick, and I don't see myself changing it unless something crazy happens. But I think AJ is going to win, and he's done almost everything in WWE at this point except win the Rumble. So hey, now's the time.
When you were saying those names, one name piqued my interest because I think they've been trying to push this guy here recently, ever since he came from NXT. And what a great way to push him over the moon than to give him a Royal Rumble win, Austin Theory.
He had a great match with AJ Styles last night on Monday Night Raw. I did catch a glimpse of that. He had a great match. Everyone was praising their match last night. AJ Styles did win clean. They've really been pushing Austin Theory. I would not be shocked if he was maybe in the Final Four, but I just don't see him winning. There's just no shot. I don't think Austin Theory is there yet in terms of being able to main event a WrestleMania. So that's just me.
Did you see the comment that Bruce Pritchard made about how he sees Vince holding the reins of WWE for the next 25 to 30 years?
Yeah, I did see that. I don't know if Vince is going to live that long, but certainly as long as Vince is breathing, he will. So,
because he said his mom is in her 90s, upper 90s.
Yeah, I mean, they might have some good genes there. So, as long as Vince is breathing, he's running the show. Even if he's breathing on a ventilator, he's running the show.
Unless they sell to Disney.
Unless they sell to Disney. Even then, I think he's going to, cut a deal, I still run this shit. But, yeah, like I said, I don't know. Like I said, as long as he's breathing, he's running it, or he's going to have a say in it, that's for sure.
Running off his son-in-law.
But, yeah, so that is that's the Royal Rumble. Looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. I'm finally going to cave in and go ahead and get Peacock back because even as trash as they, and maybe they've improved since I've last had them. So
I'm going to need a full report.
I will give you a report next week on how it was. Like I said, I hope they've improved, and I hope this time next week I will be eating crow and say that Peacock is great because last time not so great. All right, let's move on now to, let's see, what's on next on my sheet here. Okay, so Jon Moxley returned to AEW. Of course, he had he was having some issues with alcohol, so he went and he sought help, which is obviously the right thing to do. And he made his return after a few months. He was gone for a few months last week on Dynamite. And boy, I tell you what, his first words back on TV, there was a fan who I guess you can call him a heckler or whatever, but as Moxley was getting ready to start speaking, the crowd kind of quieted down, and you hear this fan holler something, and I ended up watching a video, and basically the fan said something along the lines of get the trash truck and get the garbage out of the ring or something like that. And then so Moxley hears that and basically gets on the mic and says, "Hey, go fuck yourself," on national television. Like, get that guy out of here. And I don't know if the guy got kicked out or not, but
I hope not.
Yeah.
Just because Jon Moxley says to throw somebody out for trash talking, if they actually did throw that dude out, I'd lose a ton of respect for the promotion.
Yeah. I mean,
especially if the guy just said, get the garbage truck and take the trash out.
Yeah. Like I said,
it wasn't like he was talking about, Renee's nether regions.
Well, somebody said something about somebody thought he might have said, get the drunk out of the ring. And that would have been a little, that's a little more like,
but still, come on.
But take the trash out of the ring, like that's that's okay. I would be okay with that. I mean, obviously, you bought a ticket, you can say whatever you want, but there are certain things, you might cross a line. But because I watched the video and like I said, it was something about get the garbage truck and get that garbage out the ring or something like that. And
I mean, if you're a celebrity,
fine.
There's a different line of crossage between a celebrity and a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, a regular person, you come back from detox or whatever, and somebody calls you a drunk. Yeah, you might throw hands with the guy,
Yeah.
because you think you're not anymore. But if you're a celebrity, I mean, come on, hecklers are in your space.
Mm-hmm.
That's what people do, and that's what you signed up for.
Yeah, you're right. And like I said, and Moxley, he handled it as good as you can, as only Moxley would handle it. Hey, go fuck yourself. That guy out of here.
Yeah, that was funny.
And I don't think Moxley cared if that guy got thrown out or not, but that was just Moxley being Moxley. And then he went on, had a great little promo and whatnot, and he's back now and glad to. And he looks so much healthier now. There was before and after pictures. He looks younger, looks healthier, a little skinnier, a little more fit. So
lost a lot of weight, but he is still the prototypical dad bod.
Yeah, and look, Moxley's never been the obviously the prototypical like pro wrestler looking like Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior kind of guy, but that never mattered with Moxley because he was such a great, or he is still such a great personality as far as a pro wrestler goes. That that no holds barred kind of attitude and whatnot. So he came back, had a great promo and whatnot. I think he had his return match on Rampage last Friday night. So it was a great return from Moxley. But what really kind of hit I can't think of a good term to use, but what really made headlines. There we go. What really made headlines was what Bully Ray said on Busted Open on Sirius XM, and he basically came out and said that Jon Moxley owes everyone an apology for, I guess for obviously having to leave to go to rehab and whatnot. And boy, did Bully Ray get some backlash for that. My God. And now everyone's saying Bully Ray should apologize to Jon Moxley and Renee. Let's see. Renee even came out and let's see. This was posted actually today. Renee Paquette on Bully Ray's Jon Moxley comment says Bully hasn't apologized for them. If I could scroll down, thank you. Let's see. Came under heavy criticism last week after his comments on Busted Open Radio saying he wanted to see Jon Moxley apologize to fans after his recent absence. One of the people who voiced criticism towards Bully Ray on the matter was Moxley's wife, Renee. She spoke more on the issue and at length. This is what Renee had to say on Bully's comments. He's obviously an incredible wrestler, but he's an incredible person and an incredible man. I could not be more proud of him. I could not love this guy more. So to see him out there doing that was so great. And now I hate even have to talk about this because it's stupid and annoying, and I don't even want to pay any more attention to it. But the whole thing, Bully Ray thing, I saw it all over Twitter, and I was like, do I even address this? But it's like that thing, people can talk shit about me all day long and whatever. It's fine. You talk shit about my husband, you talk shit about my family, that becomes more personal to me, and that bothers me more. Basically, so it kind of goes on for a little bit. I'm trying to see if there's any really important parts. She said, I always really liked Bully. Always thought I had a good relationship with him despite other people not having good relationships with him or him having burned bridges other places and leaving bad taste in other people's mouths. I've never had the situation with him, so now to be on the receiving end of it sucks. I've not talked to him since it's all gone down. He certainly has my phone number. He certainly has my husband's phone number. But like Dave LaGreca said, he was out at Northeast Wrestling over the weekend. I know Bully was with him. There's more stuff. But basically he said he hasn't apologized. And, I agree with Renee and everyone that's kind of coming after Bully. Like, Jon Moxley doesn't owe anyone an apology. He had a problem. He went and he got it fixed, and he did what he had to do. And Bully Ray likes to say controversial things, and probably more times than none, it's a bad take. But
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like, somebody tell Bully, you had a great career, bruh. You're a WWE Hall of Famer. You're probably a Hall of Famer in the Cauliflower Alley. Like, dog, you don't have to clout chase.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, it sucks that Bully had to come out and say something like that. But
he's just trying to keep his name and Busted Open's name in the press.
Maybe so. Yeah, I'm just reading the article right now, trying to see if there's anything else worth mentioning in it. But obviously, he hasn't apologized to, and I'm not even so sure. I don't even know if Bully Ray needs to apologize or not. Because he said what he said, and at the end of the day, like, he probably shouldn't have said it. But hey, if that's how he feels, that's how he feels. Should he have to apologize for it? I don't know. Some people say yes. I don't think he necessarily has to apologize for it. It's a bad take, but at the end of the day, he didn't.
It's not really that egregious what he said.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's a bad take, but it's not like he insulted John Moxley or anything like that. Like, he felt that John owed people an apology, which, like I said, is a wrong take, but I don't think his comments were anything he has to apologize for, because I guess he just spoke how he felt, and people shouldn't have to apologize with how they feel, even though they might feel the way they feel is not, a popular amongst others. So,
I watched a little bit of the Game Changer Wrestling pay-per-view.
Yeah, the Hammerstein.
Yeah, and I was wondering why the whole crowd was chanting "F you, Bully."
Yeah, that's
and
exactly
I was
why.
Like,
yep.
I was like, man, why are they?
No, that's why. There you go. We just answered your question for you.
Yeah.
So yeah, there was that and everything, and that made a lot of headlines. So, but yeah, that's all I got on that.
John Moxley also headlined that Game Changer Wrestling show.
Yeah, he did. He retained the GCW. It was a CGW, no GCW championship. So he's still the GCW championship. I know a lot of people were talking about Matt Cardona and his fuck Mick Foley vest he had on, and whatnot.
Did you see Mick's response to it?
I think I did, but I don't remember what it was.
It was great. Mick was like, far too many times when people get released from WWE, they always think to themselves, okay, even though it failed in WWE, that's how people know me. Should I keep this gimmick going, or should I totally reinvent myself? And he said Matt Cardona has totally reinvented himself, and for me to have a small part in that reinvention is amazing. And then he ended his interview, oh, by the way, F Matt Cardona.
Yeah. Mick is Mick is great. That's all I got to say. He's wonderful. Always enjoyed Mick Foley. So he knows, he knows how the business is. So I don't think there's real heat between those two. I think it's all in good fun, part of the business.
No, it keeps Mick's name into the publications and the fans. But the other thing I was thinking when I was watching this pay-per-view.
You good over there, dog?
That's the Rona coming back, bro.
Cough it out of you, baby. Cough it out of you.
Because, number one, their ring is extremely small. It seems like it should be like one of those midget wrestling rings. But he made quick work of Homicide. And I'm thinking, okay, he's already beaten Nick Gage. Who realistically can take the title off of John Moxley? How are you going to do that?
Yeah.
I'm guessing the only person maybe would be Matt Cardona.
Yeah, Matt Cardona is, he's really, like you said, he reinvented himself. He's really making a name for himself in GCW. And
He spit beer in a dude's face, like right in the front row that was heckling him.
Yeah, because I remember when Matt Cardona like arrived in GCW, like he made everybody think he was John Moxley, and boy, that would be a match, Cardona and Moxley for the world title there. So we could obviously be seeing that because Cardona is starting to get a lot of attention from that. So we'll see if he can keep that momentum going and see if they do anything with him in GCW. But that looked like it was a very fun show over at is it Hammerstein Ballroom is the name of it, I think.
Yeah, they re-sectioned everything off so that they could get more people in there, and it ended up being the biggest sold out show in there. And of course, WWE's ran there, ECW's ran there, so that was pretty cool. Yeah,
absolutely. All right, anything else on that?
No, I just don't see none of the homegrown GCW guys can ever take the strap off of Moxley. So it's going to be interesting to see how they get that off of him.
All right, up next we're going to talk about Mustafa Ali. He has requested his release from WWE, but now WWE is like, nope, we're not going to release you. And apparently he has multiple years left on his contract, so it seems like he's going to be stuck there. Earlier this month, he announced he requested his release, but the company turned down his request. It's also led to a Twitter campaign using the hashtag #FreeAli, with a fan sending the tweet to WWE on Fox account. The fan was blocked, which caused Ali himself to block WWE on Fox. There's still nothing to suggest that WWE is planning to release Ali, who has not wrestled on television since October. So that's been a little bit of a story there. You got Free Ali. I think it was trending at one point on Twitter. And, man, it sucks, too, because, man, Ali, like, you know me, I've always been very high on...
You've been a huge Ali mark.
Yeah, like, since, like, the first time I saw him wrestle on, I think it was... 205 Live. Yeah, on 205 Live, I was like, man, this guy is smooth in the ring, looks great. Big proponent of Mustafa Ali, and he's really... kind of made a name for himself in WWE. Like he's risen up the ranks. I mean, he's still there, and he knows his worth, and he knows what he can do in the ring. And he's seeing all these other people go out and make names for themselves on the indie scene and AEW, Impact, wherever the case may be. And he's stuck being not used in WWE. I mean, just said it hadn't been used since October, which is 3 months ago. So, let that man. You
let him go.
Yeah, like you have no problem letting everyone else go. Let this man go too. So budget cuts. Save you some money.
You know what they should do? They should get him and a few other Middle Eastern descent wrestlers, and kind of make like a terrorist gimmick.
I don't know if they want to do that nowadays. I mean, they did that kind of not necessarily a terrorist gimmick, but they. Was it Muhammad Hassan was his name? Yeah, they had that gimmick, and it seems like...
if they can have them, like, blow up some superstars' cars.
Oh, my God. Like, that would... I don't know how well that would... The PR people might be like, no, it's not a good idea.
The Saudi prince would not probably look fond on that as well.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah, that just... that wouldn't be a good idea, so I would stay away from that shit. All right, that's all I got on Mustafa Ali. Time for Rumor Mill. You got some Rumor Mill stuff, a lot of Rumble stuff here, some fun stuff.
Yeah, man, you stole some of my thunder earlier in the podcast.
Oh, I did I?
With the Iconics.
Oh, that was one of the rumors?
Offered a spot.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. That's why you got to tell me. You just told me there was a bunch of Rumble stuff, so I was like, oh, okay. Well, you didn't really specify. So if you had specified, I would have.
No, but it worked out great, though.
Oh, okay.
I kind of see why they wouldn't go. They're probably still butthurt. Sportskeeda notes that the growing speculation that Paige could make a return to WWE as a surprise entrant in the Women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I think she was, because obviously she had that injury, and I think she was recently kind of like cleared maybe to.
It's a lot, Sasha.
Yeah, she was maybe cleared to wrestle again. I don't know. I don't remember what I saw.
I just don't know how your neck can be so bad that you're never to wrestle again. Like if you wrestle again, you'll be like Edge. Like you'll be freaking, a vegetable.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're like, "Nah, you're good."
Yeah, and it seems like, I don't know, like Paige has just been another one. She's just been kind of sitting on the shelf, not being used for anything. And obviously she's been doing the Twitch stuff. So I feel like she would be someone who's just kind of waiting for her contract to expire and so she can go do whatever else she wants. But
make that money on Twitch.
Make that money on Twitch, and maybe get a little OnlyFans going. That'd be great. Obviously,
would you sign up for that one?
Yeah, probably not, because I can go on Pornhub and find videos of her already. So
Paige seems like the girl she's gonna show it.
Oh yeah, well like I said, there's been video leaks of her, and obviously she's not shy about being on camera. She probably didn't want the videos to get released to the world, but she definitely ain't shy about being on camera. So
not like she's going to be pulling any Scarlett stuff.
No, certainly not. And as far as I know, Scarlett still hasn't gone full nude yet on her OnlyFans. So I'm still waiting for someone to give us the heads up when that happens.
According to PW Insider, both Braun Breaker and Gunther are being brought to St. Louis for the Royal Rumble event, though it's unknown if they will be used in the Rumble match.
I think those would be two really good guys to use. Obviously, one, you get the NXT 2.0 brand kind of out there on a very big stage, specifically your NXT champion, Braun Breaker, who's never been on the main roster. Gunther, formerly known as Walter, has been on the main roster before, although not in very much capacity. So, yeah, I think those would be two really good guys to have in the Rumble. I'd be excited about both showing up there. And like I said, the Rumble is your opportunity for guys like that to show what you got and make a quick impact,
Yeah. Regarding Ronda Rousey, Royal Rumble story, Fightful Select says Rousey is back in training, and it's a matter of when, not if, she will return. Well, it's not clear if Ronda will be the official entrant or a official entrant in the Rumble. It doesn't look like it's going to be a one-off appearance if she does show up. Wrestling Observer says she is definitely on the books for WrestleMania.
Well, how about that? Obviously she made her WWE debut at the Royal Rumble after the Women's Royal Rumble match, the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match, mind you, and just came out and pointed to the WrestleMania sign. I don't think she's ever competed in a Rumble match, so I would love to see her be a surprise entrant in the Rumble match. And if she is a surprise entrant in the Rumble match, I would, let's put it this way, if she comes back, because earlier I was like, I would give it to Rhea Ripley based on the list. And I wanted to wait because I knew this would be one of the rumors, because obviously this has been a hot topic the last few days. If Ronda Rousey enters the Royal Rumble, she is my pick to win the Royal Rumble match. And she's going to go after Becky Lynch, and there you go. That writes itself.
Roderick Strong and LA Knight worked a dark match before last night's Friday SmackDown, and tape matches for main event before yesterday's Raw. That's brought the usual talk that their time in NXT could be coming to an end.
Yeah, there's been, and obviously I think LA Knight is ready.
Look, just another guy that I can't believe they put in NXT. He was ready before he got there.
Yeah, he looks the part. I mean, he really, like, from what I've seen, and I haven't seen him wrestle too much, but I've seen his look, and I mean, he's got the look. I think he's got the mic skills, although they
think he's got the mic skills.
Well, I mean, from what I've seen a small sample size. I haven't seen like a full blown sample size yet. So like I said, I think he does. I can't confirm. I got to see more of his stuff.
You didn't see him as Eli Drake in Impact, did you?
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay.
That's why, but like I said, he's got the look. I've seen his look, and I mean, it's a great look. So I think he could really be a star. I would love to see him come into the Royal Rumble match, possibly as a surprise entrant as well, and do well. But him, and obviously Roderick Strong's been there for forever. Not Eli, you got me calling him Eli Drake now. LA Knight, I think he'd be a great asset to the main roster, certainly. guess we'll see. But right now they just got him, being a nobody on main event.
So is the Diamond Mine still a thing?
I don't know. I don't think it is.
Well, that didn't last long.
It might still be. I'm trying to. I haven't watched NXT in a while, so.
And that Roderick Strong name kind of surprised me because, a lot of people, including myself, has always thought that him, Tommaso, Johnny Gargano, NXT lifers.
Yeah, and there was even talk of Tommaso Ciampa maybe going to the main roster because because I think he wrestled some main event tapings, and he kind of had like a new look, and like he dyed his beard black, so like there's no more gray in it, so could be he could show up too and become a main roster call up here soon. So.
And then we talked about the reports on talents leaving AEW soon. I just don't understand for the life of me why they would let Brian Cage go unless it's, Tony being a little bitch, because that's who he is. He's a little guy that every time somebody pokes at him or throws some, what's the word that I'm looking for here? Or throw some smack on social media his way, he's got to act like he's 11 years old.
Yeah, and I guess when you're in a position like him, sometimes you should just let it be, But then sometimes you never know. He might be like, "Hey, look, if you're gonna come after me, I got to defend myself." So.
Yeah, I mean, and we've talked about it before. AEW is so top heavy. I mean, it would take a while for Brian Cage to break through that right now.
Yeah, and like I said, there's even some big names there now that are kind of just sitting, in the mid card, like Andrade, like Malachi Black, and then like even before, obviously Lance Archer now is in the world title picture. Before that, he was kind of not doing anything either, and Wardlow's still kind of in the, he's a big up and coming guy. So. Yeah,
I can't wait for the match with him and MJF whenever that pops off.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out. My guess is that because obviously CM Punk and MJF are gonna wrestle maybe at Revolution. MJF's gonna cost him. Wardlow's gonna cost MJF, and maybe they build up that match for like Double or Nothing, MJF versus Wardlow. That's my guess. But that's the thing, like. With the quarterly pay-per-views, there's so much time to build it up, but they've been doing a pretty decent job of like dragging stuff out. So,
and they're such like douches to him. Like the other day when Shawn Spears was talking to CM Punk in the camera, he was like, "I'm not just some one-move rookie," And then essentially he gets the GTS like in 3 seconds and he's done.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing.
All right, well, I guess that's a show.
Yeah, that's it, man. Good show. I'm looking forward to the Rumble this weekend. Very excited about it. Like I said, first Rumble with fans in 2 years. I'm pumped, and it's on a Saturday night too.
From WWE, book Camille Brickhouse.
Yeah, she's got the look too. She would be great. So you never know. Like I said, I'm looking forward to. They got the Forbidden Door open for Mickie James, and I'm just interested to see if the Forbidden Door, if anybody else walks through it.
You think they were doing that to like kind of as like I'm sorry for how they fired her?
I think, from what I've read, whenever they reached out to her, like they did kind of like apologize with, how obviously they gave her stuff back in a trash bag and things like that. They did apologize. And apparently she, accepted the apology, or she's just like, I'm going to come take y'all's money and roll out. So, but I did read that obviously whenever they reached out to her to come to the Royal Rumble, they did give her an apology. Like, we're basically, sorry, we put your crap in a trash bag and sent it off to you.
Speaking of crap in a trash bag, what's going down with NWA here recently? Like, ever since they moved off of YouTube and went like on Fight TV, and you got to start paying to watch their weekly show.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been no buzz about NWA. And then you put your strap around Trevor fat ass Murdoch.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't been paying too much attention to NWA, so I really don't know what's been going on with them.
They got this guy, Tom Latimer, who is in Nick Aldis's Strictly Business.
Yeah.
Stable, and Camille Brookhouse is in it too, and she's actually his girlfriend.
Okay.
Tom Latimer in real life. I'm sure he knocks that down all the time.
I wouldn't blame him.
But this guy has the look, dude.
Yeah.
This guy is ripped. He's like 6'3", 6'4", humongous, long brown hair, chiseled, beautiful no homo face. like this guy's championship material. And of course, he would be a heel champ, but
he's got that it factor.
That guy would look great on posters with the 10 pounds of gold around his six pack.
Certainly.
I don't know why they haven't put the belt on him yet. They put it on a 75-pound overweight Trevor Murdoch, who still wrestles in tights.
Mm-hmm.
Why isn't this guy wearing a shirt and pants?
I don't know, because obviously, he's not the most fit guy ever. But hey, I'm not mad about NWA giving a guy like that a shot to shine with the 10 pounds of gold.
I don't know. I'm not a fan. I just thought I'd bring that up. They got a champion right there, and they can't even see it.
Well, you never know. It could happen sooner than later.
Or maybe they could give the championship to old Luke Hawks, Louisiana native, right up there in New Orleans. Yeah,
that would be cool. See a homegrown guy in Louisiana get that 10 pounds of gold.
Yeah, he's got a good look to him, too.
Yeah.
Big, buff, and bald.
Buff and bald, baby.
All right, check us out on your favorite social media platform. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. AMP Wrestling Podcast. There's only one thing left to do, Patrick. Get us out of here.
Outro.
You've been listening to the Average Marks Pro Wrestling Podcast with David Boston and Patrick Fry. All opinions discussed in the show are those of Average Marks and do not represent any wrestling company, organization, or individual. This has been a Lake Area Media, LLC production.